Hi everybody and welcome to this beginner tutorial for Fusion 360. Today we will learn how to sketch and do some basic stuff in Fusion to create this adhesive tape roller. And yeah, we're just gonna step right into it. So the first thing we do, we insert two canvases. So insert canvas, insert from my computer, and I will check here my tape side. Select here side view. I scale it just a little bit because the rest I will do now with the calibration tool. You can go right click here and say calibrate, switch back to my right view, and the tape is from here to somewhere here, 55 millimeters. And so the calibration is just for the size, and with edit canvas I go back, I just position my image here that the origin is at one corner. It's always easier to start when you start here at one point where Fusion snaps. Okay. And of course, the calibration of the image will never be perfect because you have a perspective distortion in every photo. So this is just a rough guidance, but I will give you measurements so everything will be constructed in a perfect way, more or less perfect. Then insert a second canvas. Just tumble my view here. Insert canvas. Insert from my computer, and I select the top view. The others I don't need actually, so I can work with these two, and that's fully enough. So select the bottom plane here. I just scale it up a little bit and get my rotation tool and rotate it 90 degrees. And I could also calibrate the image. I will try that. It won't be perfect either. But I switch here in my top view and move it that it is more or less here, that the y-axis is going straight in the middle. Okay, and do some calibration from here to here. It's about 70 millimeters. And it's always good that you try here. I go back to my side view, edit the canvas, and move it down and see if it fits more or less together. So maybe I could, no, I won't move it in this direction. But hit OK, and my top view I am moving a little bit, edit canvas, so that the front, and I'll just move to see if it fits together. Yeah, as I just mentioned, it will never be that perfect, so see it just as a guidance. Okay, and I just move up this one again so that the origin point is located there in the corner. Good. Then let's start with our first sketch. We won't use a component. You should do this normally when your part exists of different components, but actually we just have one plastic thing, so I don't mind. We'll create a sketch, and for that you select here the side view, and we'll draw our first line from the origin point where it perfectly snaps and take it 55 or maybe 56 millimeters, because we will lose a little bit of length because we will do fillets then afterwards. So take 56. Then you can right click and say here repeat line, so I can draw further lines. Or what you press L on the keyboard, you see you have shortcuts and you can edit for all the stuff here, also the shortcuts. When you hit here the 3 points, you can pin it to the toolbar. You see I have my 3-point arc. You won't have this when you the first time open up Fusion, because I use it quite often. I say here pin it to the toolbar, and yeah, then you have it here. Or press L on the keyboard, or define here, change keyboard shortcuts. If you like working with shortcuts, then yeah, that's the way you get into it. Then I draw another line, which I don't define the length yet. I could draw it a little bit longer. I will cut it away with fillet anyway. And when you want to define the angle that pops up, you can do this with the tab key. You can switch between these two values to change them, and I will define the 78 of degrees here, and the length I don't mind. Good. Then another line, press L on the keyboard again, and this will be a construction line, and I won't need it for the profile actually, but I start it somewhere here in the middle of this hole, somewhere. Okay, doesn't matter, we will move it. It's just as a guidance that our tape roller is 43 millimeters high. And yeah, when I click on it again and press X on the keyboard, you see here the line type is changing to construction, and this will take it out of the profile actually, and yeah, it's just a guideline. So always do this with some guidelines, that you make it a construction line. Then another line, and you see when we won't start at this point here, but when you move with the mouse, it's creating also perfectly guidelines, because the next starting point is here, this one, and where it snaps to this line, and also according that it is here coincident with the other point. Then start here and give it 73 millimeters. You see here my image won't fit perfectly, so if you want, you're always welcome to maybe edit your canvas a little bit to move it so that's easier for you. Okay. Oh, I won't finish the sketch, sorry, it was too fast. When you want to edit the sketch again, because we won't finish, then just right click, edit sketch. Now we can work on. Then, of course, we will need another line from here to here. We won't define every length or line or whatever, so don't care about everything. That's of course you can, yeah, but with Fusion and for our purpose, we just try to develop surfaces and forms and designs, and for that it's not always necessary to know every measurement, especially when you draw your own or try to construct your own sketches that you do in that, especially in the beginning of designing. There it's just about the form. So then we will need here somewhere this point, and I will draw another construction line, or yeah, somewhere here where this center could be, because here we have actually somewhere 20 maybe. Of course we have to go lower because we will create this with fillets afterwards. I click on it, press X again, and you can also move it here a little bit so that it's somewhere there. Good. Then I also draw a line from here to here to get the measurement, because I have it, so get 5 millimeters will be the starting point here. And then I can draw from here to here, and I start this point, and I also make it longer, or you can snap it there, it's also fine. We'll cut this away in a second. So yeah, here we go. Then you can use the trim tool here for getting rid of these lines, because we don't need them anymore. And now we can do some fillets, and we will use here the fillet tool for that. And when you use fillets, you select the left and the right line, and you see here it's fillet tools popping up. And I think we do 2 millimeters here of fillet radius. It's fine. Then another fillet from here and here. Now it's selecting, yeah, more or less automatically. I use 1 millimeter here. And another radius here of 1, because it's not so much here, and another one. You can do fillets actually also later. It just depends on the complexity of your form, if you do it in the sketch already or when you have your solid model. But in this quite easy case, we will just do it immediately. And we will do also fillets later when you are in the solid working. Then again between here and here, you see it's trimming away the parts that we don't need. Actually, yeah, here we could take 3. That seems like following the form. And the last one, no, not the last one. Here we can go even further, maybe 22 seems okay. And a last fillet now. Here, no, 3 is enough. Good, we see we have our profile, but before we go on, we will create the circle also here in this sketch. And actually, we could use this line, but we don't have perfect middle point, and also this point here is connected actually to this radius. So we will define a new line where we can perfectly position this radius. Actually, maybe I could move that, just click and drag it somewhere to the nowhere. And we will create a new construction line which is exactly the half. So I'm just positioning it somewhere, and it's 21.5. And I could also position it, yeah, and press X on the keyboard, because this shouldn't be, it's just a helping line. So put it somewhere, maybe here, where maybe the middle of the circle is. Then create a circle, but be aware that you don't hit that point. You use the point that you just created with this helping line. And this is our starting point, and we will define here 23. And if you think that the positioning wasn't fine, then you can just click on this line and it will, because it's connected here, you can move it somewhere where it's fine to you. Okay, now we finish our sketch. And we could do our first extrude. So go here to extrude, select the profile here without circle in the middle, and we will give it a thickness of 1 millimeter and hit OK. So we get our first side. Of course, we will move the stuff here. No, we could move it actually now because that's good for our, would be good for our process. So I got a new body here. You see that? Body 1. And when you select the body, you can hit M on the keyboard. Maybe it works. No, I was here in the Taperoller. I was in renaming mode. So now press M on the keyboard, then you got into the move and copy mode. Also find it here. And we'll move the whole stuff here 9 millimeters. Hit OK. Then we'll create this inside stuff here, and for that we can create sketches on faces. So that's what we're gonna do now. So click on this face here on the inside and say create sketch. So we got a new sketch exactly on this plane, and what we do, we project here a line. Of course you can draw a new circle, but so you get used to some of the tools that you find here. We could project the one we have. So go here to create project, and select this line here, geometry, one selected, selection filter here, specified entities, that's fine, and hit OK. What we got here, a switch of the bodies, is a pink line. That's just, that will help us now a little bit, because now we can create an offset from this line. So select it, and offset is, yeah, making bigger or smaller, and we offset this 1 millimeter and hit OK. And actually our sketch is finished already. What we need in this case, finish the sketch. I draw here my perspective view and get my body here again. Maybe switch off the canvas. Now we have this inner profile ring, and we could extrude that again. So hit extrude, then select this profile, and let's check here, maybe in the top view how far we will extrude this. We will leave here a little bit, 1 millimeter maybe in the center, so, or maybe not too much, maybe 8.5, not 80, 8.5. Yeah, that seems nice. And be aware that the operation is set to join, so it's automatically connected to our other body. Hit OK. And maybe you save your scene sometimes. Save it here in my tutorial projects, Taperoller. Good, and for this cutting thing here, I'm creating also a new sketch. And this time I will select here the bottom floor. It's actually doesn't matter where, and we will do it more or less here from the center line. I will create here a construction line from the origin. This will help us to define a little bit of stuff. Press X for construction, and I define here from the middle line. I take about 5 millimeters is fine here, and I move this. This is a little bit next, somewhere here. So here you have the face, and actually you don't need to have to define that, but so then I have a starting point for a line. I'm checking just as long it could roughly be, and I don't mind here about the, or we will mind a little bit. Take 95 here, and another construction, and I connect here to the middle line again, also fine, and maybe hit a little fillet, 0.5, not too much. And so we have just a definition of where to cut away the stuff. Okay, I finished the sketch. It should be a little bit bigger than your actual body. Finish the sketch. And a cool thing is here the split body tool. You find it also in modify, split body. Be aware that you don't hit the split face, because this is just, you can split a face, but split body is really separating the bodies from each other, and we need that in this case. So split body, select here, split body to split, select this one. Then splitting tool, I activate here the select tool. Splitting tool is this line here in the bottom, which is created. And you see Fusion is automatically extending this one up, and when I hit OK, you see this line going through, and we got now two bodies, two separated bodies. The one actually here that we need to get rid of, and you can get rid of. And there are two ways of getting rid of objects. Delete is, we will try this, but you see it is connected to as reference and so on, so I cancel. Most of the time you should use remove. So it actually goes somewhere in the nowhere, but it's still there and the history is connected, but it's actually deleted somehow. Good. And we will add just a little bit more of fillets now before we will mirror this stuff, and this thing in the middle we will create separately. So I switch off the canvases so I can see it a little bit better. So let's train fillets. Fillet 1 I will take here on this, and you can define, so 1 millimeter. Now too much. So let's take 0.5. Okay, and now we are selecting quite a lot of the parts here and fillet them all together. So I have nothing selected, go to the fillet tool, and now I select this one and that one, and also here, and this and that, and the inner one. I think I have selected everything I need now for filleting, and I define a small fillet Here 0.3 looks quite nice. Be sure that radius type is constant, rolling ball, everything's set here perfectly. Okay. And now let's mirror the whole thing. So take the body, create mirror. Now we get some options. We have already one selected here. Type is set to body, mirror plane. Now I hit here the select tool and check my plane, this one. And yeah, that's it. We will create a new body out of this. And good. So we have our perfectly nice mirrored stuff here. And now let's go to do the last part here. Let me see if you're seeing. Then let's create the next body. And for that, I'll create a new sketch. I can create it on the surface or here on the midplane, doesn't matter. I take the midplane so I can show you some new stuff there then going on. And I actually hide my bodies and I activate my first sketch here again because I could use some of the lines to help me creating now this process. So we will use that one here and we will create a projection. So create project, then hit this line here and okay. Then I switch off my first sketch and I get this little purple line here. And we will offset this line so we get our perfect parallel stuff, -4 millimeters. Then let's draw a line which is 14 millimeters. And I will also do an offset from this, in this direction, 4 millimeters, -4. Of course, I can draw a construction line, and but there are different ways to create sketches. So I press X on the keyboard because I don't need that part. It was just a helping line, and I will create a fillet here between this one and that one. Try to hit on the inner side and not on the outer side because it makes a difference where Fusion wants to create a fillet. I will create just a small one, 1 millimeter, or maybe 2. Let's take 2. And here from the top position, I will create also a line, and this one is 7 millimeters long. Let's check here. Yeah, that will be fine. It's also okay that this is a little bit down. The other, it's also in the real model. And I hide that again. I also do a fillet here. You see, you can also select sometimes the point when you have it, and do also a fillet of, yeah, let's take 2. It's also fine. Oh, okay. And now let's do an offset from this one, this line, the whole line. So hit offset, and when here chain selection is on, the whole line now is selected, and we will do 1 millimeter. That's fine. Hit OK, and we have to do a closed profile. So I just draw a line from here to here to connect it, and here we will use not a straight one because it should be sharp at the end. So I just draw a line here with, let's take not 50, no 30. Yeah, 30 degrees are fine. Be sure with the tab key you can switch. So I don't mind about the length because I will cut away, but the 30 degrees are important. And then go to the trim tool, trim this away and this away, and yeah, the rest I will leave. Finish the sketch. I activate my bodies again, and now I can do an extrude again. The profile is already selected, and now I change here this one to symmetric, because now when I hit this, it's going in both directions. And I will do it 9 should be enough for joining. Yep. You could also do it a little bit more, maybe 9.5. No, it's connecting too much. 9 is fine. So it's perfectly on this. And be sure that the operation is set to 9, to join. Hit OK. Now we have one nice body with all the stuff in here. Now the last thing we do is we need this little cutting parts. And for that, we will select the face up here and create a sketch in it. Create sketch. And we will do projection again. Create project and select here this face. Hit OK. Hide my body. Then create a construction line beginning from this point here, and this will be 1.8 millimeters long, and this will be actually a construction line, and also another one. And when you slide along this line, you will get here in the middle this X with the triangle, and you know the triangle is the midpoint constraint, and we need to find here this center point of the line, and this is our starting. And we will need another one which is 2 millimeters. Then take here the lower one, and we'll do an offset here also with -2 millimeters. They're just helping lines, all of them. Press X. And now we will draw our triangle with some more lines, and we're connecting the upper point with here the lower one, and also this one with that one. Okay. And then we will duplicate all this stuff, and for that we will create a rectangular pattern, one of my favorite tools, and we will select 1, 2, and you can move here this arrow, and you see here it's we have now quantity of 3. We will need 10. Oops. 10 of a copy. And won't work. Okay, now Okay, hit 10 here or here, doesn't matter if you use it there or there. And be sure that your distance type is not set to extend. Extend is, in between there are so many duplicates, but we need spacing because we need an exact spacing from one point to another so that this is connecting. And that's the reason why I use this 1.8 in the beginning, because now we can define here a perfect combined triangle series with here a distance of 1.8. Okay, select the two objects, distance type spacing, and here the distance is 1.8. Let's see if, yeah, it perfectly ends up here. That's the advantage of using some measurements, of course, that you can calculate a little bit, and hit OK. Then we finish our sketch. We will get our bodies back again. Let's see if this works when I could also do an extrude before, and yeah, we will do this. Then I select all the outer triangles. I use symmetric extrude now and extrude them just a little bit, that they are going right through, so take 2 millimeters or something. And yeah, I set the operation to cut, that's fully fine. So that's more or less the same than split body, then you have to delete it afterwards, but the cut, of course, is cutting it away immediately. Okay, here we go. Now we have a very nice cutting part up here. And I think I will leave that in this position. Of course, you can do maybe some more fillets if you want, but I'm happy with that. I just set up a quick little rendering. I switch here from the design to the render menu and go here to appearance. And I have a nice little gallery of stuff, and I have plastic. Find plastic here, double click, and I take this ABS white and just drop it over my object. And when I scroll up here, I have here my in this design used materials. I double click on the white here, and you can take whatever color you like. I take here this kind of red. It's nice. Done. Then you can check here the scene settings. You have some where I can adjust here the color to a little bit brighter gray on the floor. You can do some reflections in the ground, but you won't see it when it's too white. So let's see if I see it in rendering. Yes, there I will see then a little bit. So here you can stop and play the rendering in the canvas. You have some environments here, also outdoor environments, and you can change them when you just drop it here to current environment, and you see it's changing the lighting a little bit, looks everything a little bit different. So just play around what looks nice to you. And let it render. When you're happy with the view in there. Oh, you could also do a little bit of repositioning, so you can rotate your scene, and I will just, in the preview, you see it faster. So there you can change the lights or the light direction. And when you are happy with the in-canvas rendering, because this is just a preview actually, of course you can keep your image there, or you could do a separate rendering here. When you hit render, I'll stop here the in-canvas rendering. There you can adjust which size do you want to have. I do here about 2000 to 1500. Switch here to local renderer, because for cloud rendering you need credits, of course money. So switch here to local rendering. I change here the settings, activate here advanced settings, set my quality to excellent, and yeah, hit rendering. And it's submitted to the cloud, and now you see here there's rendering, and you see the progress. And I'll be there in a minute when this is finished. There it goes, our rendering. See it here in the render gallery. Looks quite nice with a little bit of translucency here in this plastics material. And for saving your file to your computer, hit here download. And here I have my rendering. That was the introduction to solid modeling. I hope you got along with everything and learned the first tools that you can use to create such nice forms.